Today we're joined by Stephen M. Smith, who is the director-writer of Dead Again. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good.
Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it.
It's really good. Yeah, it's good.
Fantastic. Dead Again. What's Dead Again all about?
So Dead Again is, it's, how can I put it? I've always wanted to make a kind of hot fuzz Shaun of the Dead style movie, and I know I'd never have the budget, but I just thought, well, I'm going to give it a go. So I wrote this script in 2 days, as you do, and thought, well, let's go and shoot this in 3 days. I'll give myself 3 days to shoot it. But we had a really amazing location in Devon, and this was obviously before social distancing, and we had real good fun making it. I think we all realised when we were shooting it, this was really good. I actually drove down with the 2 lead cast, Tony and Elliot, who were really, really good in it. And I knew they were reading all the lines, and I'm laughing, we're all laughing. I'm thinking, this is going to be good, this is going to be fun. Yeah. But the problem is with these sort of movies is that distribution companies don't want these sort of movies. They want straight and out horror, they want one genre, they want to stick to that genre. So luckily, I've said, I'm going to make this movie, and we've had really good reviews, hence it's in the Romford Film Festival, which is a really good festival to get it into, because they really do pick their films properly. So yeah, really, really good.
Absolutely fantastic. Now, it almost seems to most of us struggling script writers out there, inconceivable that you can write this in 2 days. How do you achieve such a thing?
I'm one of these people that is very observant. I may come across as somebody who could be quite quiet sometimes, but I could look at, it's people I meet. Not to say that you would turn into a character, but if you have a trait, if you have something about you that's interesting,
yes,
that's fascinating,
yes,
then it could potentially become a character. With me, Dead Again was about I love to put characters into places out of their depth. So I thought, what about if it were a good idea to have somebody who's retiring in the most boring place in the world? Originally, I'd say in Scotland. It was supposed to be set in Scotland on an island where there's nobody, right? But I couldn't afford to go to Scotland, it was too far away. And then if you're there and it's your first day, and you've got this guy who's the last day and the first day, and that's where the concept came from. And I thought, well, imagine if it all goes to pop on that day. And that's really what it came out of.
Fantastic. And your lead, Tony Fadell, plays the retiring cop.
Yeah.
And he plays it wonderfully.
Yeah.
It's a great role, isn't it?
Well, I wrote it for Tony. So
you did?
I actually said to Tony, I've got this film, and I've worked with Tony before, and Tony's a bit of a method actor, so he basically goes into his character. And I thought, well, what if I just write this character as Tony, being a bit of a lad, bit of a, and just a little bit more to it, so that way I know what he's going to be like. Elliot I've worked with before as well, on another film, and Elliot was completely different. So I thought, well, actually, these will work together. If Elliot can be this kind of sidekick to him almost,
And that's exactly what you juxtapose, this incompetent 30-year-long sergeant or whatever it is against this absolute rookie who's just coming out, first day on the street, and then this chaos happens. It's absolute chaos, and somehow they've got to cope and get through it.
Yeah, and there's never been any chaos before. So you can imagine you working maybe in the cinema for 30 years, and you were taught 30 years ago that was how it was taught to you. That's how it is. And then a new person comes in and says, no, this is the way it should be done now. But you can't, because if the person in charge is the person in charge, it's very much like the army. You have to abide by that rank.
Yes, absolutely. So, again, you said something which is pretty scary. You've gone out. You've written 2 days to write a script, which has totally worked on screen. Totally works. And then you've gone and said earlier on 3 days to shoot it. How can you possibly shoot this film in 3 days?
Well, it's about the planning. So. I say to myself, well, if I can get 100 shots a day, now 100 shots a day, then you can get a movie. So in the end, I think we got 80 to 90 shots a day, so I had to actually have a 4th day. But the main reason I had a 4th day was because we shot this in winter last year originally, and we just couldn't get the extras in. So hence we have, say, maybe 2 or 3 creatures at the beginning. By the end, we have lots of creatures that are shot. But that's movie making. Movie making for me, I'm kind of a doer rather than a sayer. If something's going to happen, I do it. Now, it doesn't always work out, but then at the end of the day, at least I've done it, and I make 4 to 6 films a year. They are all commercial. They're all successful financially because I make sure I make them under a certain amount. And I know my limitations when I'm writing it. I don't say I'm going to write a huge car chase with explosions. I say, okay, what can we do? I say, okay, we have a zombie apocalypse. What about if that's happening 3 or 4 miles away and we focus in on the most boring village in the world? Well, how would they cope with it?
Yeah. The fact that you've just said that you make how many films a year on average?
4 to 6. I'm involved in about 10 films
That's
a year.
crazy. That is so prolific. It's unbelievable. And we take hats off to that. Thank you for that. So as a director, and I know you're an experienced writer-director, but as a director, do you storyboard? What's your process? Do you wait to get on set and see how the actors are moving to sort of determine your blocking? What are you doing?
So, me as a director, I kind of have different approaches to different films. So, for example, if I'm casting someone like Tony, and I've already written the character for him, and I know who Elliot is, that's brilliant. I know how they're going to interact, and we just have to rehearse it. Other times, you may storyboard or create sequences and say, well, actually, this sequence, like the fight sequence, the end, the finale to this movie, we kind of wrote out how that was going to be shot by shot. And I think there was 210 shots within that final sequence. And you kind of roughly work them out. Now, luckily, I've worked at the same location several times, so I know it in and out. And it's really just using what you have and around you. But I also sometimes like walking into a room, and Spielberg does this. He'll walk into a room, he'll get nervous, he won't storyboard it. He'll then go, let's see what the actors can do. Let's do a rehearsal, where they take it with us.
Yes.
And then you fine-tune it, because you have to give actors credit. You have to give them freedom. I certainly wouldn't write anything and then expect an actor that I've never ever worked with to come in and be word for word on my script, because that's pretentious. I would say there's leeway and there's, you have to adapt.
Yes. So that's really fascinating for sort of first time or early filmmakers here. That on occasion you'll just come in, say, guys, go for it, let's see what happens, and then you're thinking afterwards about where you're placing the camera, whether it's moving.
As we're doing rehearsal, I'm
Yes.
thinking to myself, okay, there's the simple master shots, there's the 2 shots,
Yes.
but things will come to you, and you see that within Dead Again. You see little bits and pieces where, because we haven't got the money, but perhaps we could have done with a big crane creating the shot that I wanted, but we've kind of come up with something. And I think that's the best way, because then everybody's involved and everyone kind of goes, oh, how's this going to work, how that's going to work. They also know their positions. So you almost rehearse the scenes of play. And then you've got their positions, and I can go, great, I can come in with the 2 shot there, I can come in with the single there, I can move the camera there, I can have that shot, I have that as a cutaway. And then you won't need as much coverage. So you go, actually, I only really need this person's lines sometimes. And that also saves time.
Okay, that's fantastic advice for new filmmakers. Absolutely brilliant. So tell us about challenges. You said it's a crazy short shoot. That's a bit of a mouthful there. So you're relying on some good actors there, able to remember their lines and pretty much get spot on what you're asking them to do first time almost.
Well, not really, because I think that what you're saying is that what are they going to give to the party?
Right.
And the thing is, if you do know what an actor is and who an actor is, then you know what they're going to give. And I think it's sometimes you can jump in and say, well, I want you to do it exactly like this. I'm kind of not that's not needed. I think my advice to filmmakers who are starting out is to take a step back, relax, let the people around you see what they can do and bring to the party. Because sometimes the DP will come up with an idea. Sometimes you could put a light somewhere and go, oh, that looks good. And you never knew that. And you thought, actually, why don't we just change the mood of this scene a little bit? It also helps the actors. And actors feel more comfortable if they know the beginning, the middle and the end of a scene.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's how I work it.
It sounds like you're a fairly easy director to work with.
Well, yeah, I'm easy. I'm a business-minded person. So there's always that producer side of me. When it comes to directing, I'm very relaxed about what we do.
It's almost tough, isn't it? You got this get it done
because
producer hat. Yeah, well, you need to get these shots in the can. So I briefly mentioned challenges. Any challenges? Or
Well,
no?
yeah, the challenges are, I think, especially on Dead Again, I didn't have another producer, so I produced it all myself. I think the challenges were really about making sure that everybody was going to be able to have fun making this movie, because that's the biggest challenge. You're like, well, this isn't Hollywood. You know, you've not got a big Winnebago around the corner, which we'd love. I always say, well, next time I'm going to have, you know, a jacuzzi that we could all get into. That's the bonus, right? We'll all jump in the jacuzzi at the end of the day. But you can't even do that with social distancing.
No.
So foot spas, I think individual foot spas, maybe.
So you work closely with your DOP, obviously.
Yeah.
Do you work with the same DOP, or you mix it up? Or?
I mix and match. I mean, I think the thing is sometimes I'm DOP.
Oh, are you? Oh.
So on Dead Again, I am the DOP. So I've shot everything as well. But I've just done Dollhouse. I was DOP. We did have a DOP, but it didn't work out. I've just done a movie in Devon. We had an incredible DOP. But that's mainly because of COVID-19, and he's not got any other work. But it's those are the challenges. Movie by movie, it's different. It's so different.
Yeah, and it sounds like you rise to the challenge, and basically you've got so much experience that even if you fall short with somebody, you can just step in yourself. By the sound of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's about knowing each other's jobs.
Has it been submitted anywhere else, or is this the first festival for you?
So this was the very first screening.
So this was the premiere.
Public, yeah.
This was
the world premiere.
It's the world premiere.
Yeah.
How privileged are we? Thank you so much for doing that. I absolutely think you're going to get inundated now with resumes from actors and people, because it sounds like you're a really easy person to work with.
Yeah.
We wish you every success.
Thank you.
Again. Thank you so much for being prepared to be interviewed by us, and of course giving us the world premiere for Dead Again.
Thank you to the Romford Film Festival. Thank you to the Romford Film Festival. Amazing place, amazing people, and next year when we get it full up, none of my films will get in because my films are there, but the films here are up there. I'm telling you. So if you can watch and support the Romford Film Festival, support it, 100%.